What's up, desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back with another video. And today I'm wrapping up the prejudging from the 2021 Indy Pro. We got to see Blessing Awodibu make his pro debut, and will we get to see Justin Rodriguez win his first IFBB Pro contest? Also, we had a super stacked 212 lineup, which is super competitive. So let's get straight into it. I'm going to start with the Open Pro Men, and I want to mention as well the live stream. We had some issues with it as well. I was obviously promoting that a little bit and trying to push it out so you guys can actually watch that, but unfortunately it did not work for me. It did not work for most people, from what I've heard at least anyway, but there were a few people who were able to watch it. There's about 80 odd people that were watching live. I did have one guy on Instagram sending me some photos, and then I did see someone live streamed it on YouTube as well, but the quality wasn't that great as well. But Flex Online came through with these photos that we're going to use in this video as well, so head over to their Instagram page and check them out because they've got all the high quality images up on the Instagram page right now. So let's start with first call out from the Open Pro Men, which included Blessing Awodibu, Muhammad El Aman, we had Justin Rodriguez, Dorian Haywood, and Morgan Asti. So that was pretty much my top 5 predictions, minus Muhammad El Aman, and then I had Dwayne Walker in there, who I actually think was overlooked in this lineup as well. Now, I haven't got any high-res images of him. If I do find any after recording this and before I put it up, I will actually add it to this video. I do think Dwayne Walker looked really good. His leg size was, not where it probably needed to be quad-wise. Maybe that's what hurt him and held him back. But I was really impressed with how he looked on stage. He looked in great condition, and I'm not too sure why he actually wasn't in that top 5 call-out, to be honest with you guys. I mean, his weaknesses did show up on stage, and one of the weaknesses he did have was posing. Like, when he was posing, he was extremely shaky. Extremely shaky. And he just didn't hold his poses long enough, which sort of just struck me as not being confident. Whether that was the issue or not, obviously he's making his pro debut, so there would be a bit of a nerves associated with that. But overall, I think he does have some good shots. So when you see like his side chest and a few other shots, they look quite good. But when he does like an ab and thigh, for example, his obliques quite thick and his legs aren't up to his upper body yet. So the pose just doesn't flow properly for me. But overall, I think it was a decent pro debut for sure for Blessing Awodibu, but the expectations were so high that it's sort of almost a letdown from most people. Now, Morgan Asti on the right here, absolutely enormous. Now, from the front is where he's weak. So his front double bicep, his front lat spread, his ab and thigh, those poses don't really look aesthetically pleasing. He looks huge still, but they're just not the best shots for him. When he goes to the side, so his side chest especially, it looks very freaky. He has huge separation between his, quads, hamstrings, glutes. Looks just freaky shredded. And then from the back, he is diced like crazy. So he's actually up there in terms of directly from the back. He's right up there in that top 3 in my opinion, but obviously, those front shots do hold him back a little bit, and he'll probably fall around 4th place here in my opinion. Now let's go to the top 3, and we're going to analyze each pose and decide who's actually going to win. So front double bicep, Muhammad El Aman is actually in the middle. So I was thinking, okay, this is a home run for Justin Rodriguez after I saw them pose individually. But in the comparisons, Muhammad El Aman looks way better. Looks way better than I thought he actually would. So obviously from the waist down, he is beating Justin Rodriguez. From the waist up, I'd say, it's pretty comparable in this shot as well, but I'd probably say from the waist up, I'd give it to Justin, but very close. And then Dorian Haywood, I think, I was actually a little surprised he was in his top 3 call out. Now his front double bicep is not his strongest pose due to the midsection. He's got very short arms as well, and then his quads aren't the strongest, but he does pack a huge amount of muscle. And when his arms are down and he's doing those sorts of poses like most musculars, he's actually really strong. Now, for front lat spread, now this one's probably Justin Rodriguez's, but it is very close due to the fact that from the waist down, he does not win this pose. I'd say Dorian Haywood in a clear 3rd in that one. The side chest, I'd give this one to Justin Rodriguez. I just think he's a little bit bigger. Hard to tell, obviously a rough angle on this photo, but I did see some of that live stream, and I would have probably given the side chest to Justin on that one. Now, the back double bicep, I also give that to Justin. But Muhammad El Aman is holding his own, but Justin Rodriguez probably has one of the best back doubles in bodybuilding right now. The back lat spread, you have to give that to Justin as well. His back is just too dominant. His glutes are in. And actually, Justin Rodriguez, he really did bring it in the end of his prep. Because I was a little bit worried about his conditioning and where he was at, 5 weeks out, but he really brought it in and looked really great. Now, the side tricep, I'd also give that to Justin. And then the ab and thigh, I would also give that to Justin as well. And then you go down to the most muscular. This one's probably pretty close. Muhammad Al-Aman isn't quite in his pose there. So I'd give this contest to Justin Rodriguez. But Muhammad Al-Aman definitely, I'd probably say he takes that front double bicep and challenges on the front lat spread, challenges on the side chest, and really you can make a case for him being, maybe challenging for the win. I don't think he will get the win here. I think it'll be Justin Rodriguez's first IFBB Pro win, and obviously I'd say Dorian Haywood finishing a clear third there based on this call out, because if they're going to judge this as the clear top three, because this is the final call out, then I'd say Dorian Haywood's a clear third out of these three guys. Now, moving on to the 212s, we had in the first call-out, we had Noel Adame, this is from left to right, Brian Balzano, you had Nathan Epler, John Jewett, Justin Randall, Tonio Burton, and then Sahar Kazis. Probably pronouncing his name really wrong there. So you really can't tell too much from these smaller shots. So we're going to go to the final three call-out, which is John Jewett, you've got Tonio Burton, and then you got Nathan Epler. So a pretty impressive lineup, really. Like, some of these guys are absolutely inside out, shredded to the bone. And John Jewett was definitely one of those on the left. Now let's go pose by pose. We'll start with the front double bicep. And this one really, it's pretty close, but I'd probably give this one to Tonio Burton. His quads are a little bit bigger than John Jewett, but John Jewett does have some pretty nice peaky biceps. He's hitting a nice vacuum there as well. It's really a tough shot because there's some aspects of this that I think John Jewett looks better in, and some aspects I think Tonio Burton looks better in, and I'd say here Nathan Epler is third. Let's move on to the front lat spread. Now, John Jewett hits a pretty impressive vacuum on that front lat spread, so I'd probably maybe give that to him. I'd probably say Tonio Burton in second. But Nathan Epler actually looks pretty good on this pose as well, because his chest is absolutely diced. So a pretty close front lat spread with all these guys having different strengths on that pose. Now, moving on to the side chest, and this one's pretty close as well. Like, the bubbly, sort of round, dense muscle of Tonio Burton there in the middle is very, very impressive. But I'd have to give this one probably to John Jewett. He looks a little bit flat in his upper body. So from the waist up, I'd give this to Tonio Burton most likely, or maybe even Nathan Epler, who's very aesthetically pleasing and balanced on this pose as well. But from the waist down, John Jewett has the most crazy hanging hamstrings, so I'd probably give the side chest to John Jewett, but it would be very narrowly, because I'd say that, when you look at the shoulders and the chest, I'd say Tonio Burton, and especially the traps as well, Tonio Burton definitely takes that one from the upper body wise. Now, moving on to the back lat spread. Sorry, these are slightly out of order as well. Now, Tonio Burton has a crazy thick, wide back, so I'd give this one to Tonio Burton from the waist up. Now, from the waist down, John Jewett is inside out peeled, so it depends what the judges want to go for. Are they going to go for ultra shredded? Because if they are, they'll probably go for John Jewett. If they're going to go for dense, thick muscle, I'd say they're going to go for Tonio Burton. Now, the back double bicep, I think this is a clear win for Tonio Burton. Regardless of how sliced and diced John Jewett's legs are, I'd say Tonio Burton is just so thick through the back. When you look at his traps that run down his back there, and just the density through his back compared to John Jewett. Now, John Jewett's no slouch in his pose either, but I think Tonio just has so much thickness and density in his back that I'd have to give that to him. Now, moving on to the side tricep. Now, this one's really hard to judge. Nathan Epler actually looks really good here as well. I'd probably give this one to John Jewett based on the hamstring hang. And Tonio Burton doesn't always pull his midsection in perfectly on this pose, so I'd say John Jewett wins the side tricep there. And now moving on to the ab and thigh. This one's pretty damn close. I'd probably give this one to John Jewett. Very, very close. I like Tonio Burton's abs a little bit more on this one, but maybe just the way he's hitting it isn't absolutely perfect. I like to see him pull his elbows up a little bit more and stand a little bit taller, but overall, very, very close ab and thigh on that one. And then the most muscular, I'd give this one to John Jewett. Just because Tonio Burton, the way he's holding his shoulders and everything there, I think it looks a little bit better the way John Jewett's hitting it. So super, super close. I mean, if I had to call it, honestly, I really don't know. It's very close between John Jewett and Tonio Burton. The fact that Tonio Burton's in the middle on this one probably says something. And, just the overall stature and seeing these guys move, honestly, I probably had Tonio Burton winning it. But I'm giving half the poses to John and half the poses to Tonio. And then Nathan Epler, I don't want to discount him either. He's no slouch, and he looked really good in that most muscular as well. So it's going to be a super close 212 there, and I can't wait to see who actually comes out on top. But it seems to be between Tonio Burton and John Jewett, and I'd probably give the edge slightly to Tonio Burton, who I have an interview coming up with as well, probably about an hour and a half after this video. I said that after my prejudging preview, but I'm actually going to put it up after this because I want to get the prejudging wrap up out to you guys as soon as possible. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Who do you have winning the Pro Open Men? So obviously Muhammad Al-Aman, you got Justin Rodriguez. What do you think of Blessing Awodibu? Let me know in the comments below on all of that. Plus, who do you have winning the 212? Do you have John Jewett? Do you have Tonio Burton? Do you have Nathan Epler? Do you have anyone else do you think that got overlooked in there as well? And do you think also, did Dwayne Walker get overlooked? Let me know what you think in the comments below on that one. Guys, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell button. That way you'll be notified when every video goes up for myself, Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding, including my finals review as well, and the Tonio Burton interview. And it's a really, really good one. He goes deep. You know, it's raw, it's emotional, and it's really cool to hear his story. So that's it from me. So for Xavier Wills, Desktop Bodybuilding, we are out.